All right, today we're jumping into the bizarre and, let's be honest, deeply divisive 2023 horror film, The Seeding. This is one of those movies that splits audiences right down the middle, and we're going to unpack exactly why.
Okay, so yeah, the film does not mess around. This quote describes the literal opening shot, an unforgettable, totally unsettling image that tells you right away what kind of movie you're in for. It's not just shock value, it's a promise that things are gonna get grim and they're gonna get primal.
And that opening really sets the stage perfectly for our main character's journey, which is, well, a descent into a canyon that's both very real and very metaphorical.
So we meet Wyndham Stone. He's a photographer, he's from the city, and he thinks he's got it all figured out for his big photo mission. But all that modern confidence just vanishes when he gets tricked by a supposedly lost kid. This whole setup feels like classic survival horror. You know, it has vibes of The Hills Have Eyes. Before you know it, he's lost, delirious, desperate, and then he sees it, an impossible house at the bottom of a canyon. He makes that fateful choice to climb down the rope ladder, basically climbing right into his own trap. And this is where we get to explore the bizarre new world Wyndham has just willingly walked into. It's a place with its own set of rules, and believe me, he's about to learn them the hard way.
So he wakes up the next morning, and boom, the ladder's just gone. He is trapped. His only company is this woman, Alina, who is a total paradox. She takes care of him, but she's also his warden. And then there are these feral boys up on the canyon rim. They're his tormentors, but they're also weirdly his providers, tossing down supplies like it's all just some cruel game. And this right here, this is where the film's core idea is laid bare. There's this one powerful scene where Wyndham empties his wallet, and you can just watch him realize that every single symbol of his modern life, his credit cards, his license, his whole identity is completely and utterly useless down here. His old self just evaporates. Like Alina tells him, what he thinks he's missing is just an idea of freedom. So this leaves this huge, looming question hanging over the whole first half of the movie. What is going on? Why is he really there? After weeks of being trapped, this really twisted, desperate relationship starts to form with Alina. I mean, she's his only human contact. And this, let's call it coerced intimacy, leads directly to the film's horrifying central purpose. And here's the big reveal. The whole point of all this, his imprisonment, it isn't random. He wasn't just captured, he was selected. He's there to serve a very specific and horrifying biological function for this isolated little group. He is there for the seeding. The brutal, cold logic of this cycle becomes terrifyingly clear by the end. In a moment that could almost feel tender, Wyndham helps Alina deliver their child. He actually holds his baby, maybe finding just a flicker of meaning in all the horror. And then immediately, he's strangled to death by the boys. His part in the cycle is over. And as Alina tells him just moments before he dies, his role was basically preordained. It's this continuous, brutal cycle that, as the director says, will just keep going forever. I mean, a story this grim and nihilistic, it really makes you wonder, what exactly was director Barnaby Clay trying to say with all this? Well, for his first big movie, Clay really wanted to explore what happens when you take a modern person, someone totally detached from nature, and just ram them head right into the hornet's nest. The movie is all about stripping away that fragile sense of who we think we are to see the raw, primal vulnerability that's underneath. And what's really fascinating is Clay's main inspiration. He wasn't just thinking about a human story. He literally modeled this society on an insect colony, like a termite mound. In that kind of world, Alina is the queen. The boys are the workers, and men like Wyndham, well, they're just hosts, brought in to serve one single biological purpose. The individual means nothing. Only the colony's survival matters. And that theme also came from a really personal place. Clay has said that during his wife's pregnancy, he was hit with this feeling that his role as a man was really just to facilitate. That personal anxiety about what a man's purpose is. That became a central idea in the film's brutal take on gender roles and biological destiny. So you've got this horrifying plot, you've got the director's deep artistic intent, but that doesn't always translate, does it? How did audiences and critics actually react to the film? Well, as you might guess, the reception was totally split. On one hand, You had critics praising its stunning visuals, its powerful acting, and this incredible sense of dread. But on the other hand, a lot of viewers found it just frustratingly slow, predictable, and, well, too nihilistic to really connect with. And you can see that in the numbers. Over on the review site Rotten Tomatoes, the film officially gets a rotten score of 56% based on what the critics had to say. Yeah, this split right here is a perfect visual for why The Seating is considered such a polarizing art house horror film. It's the kind of movie you either think is brilliant or just plain boring. There's not much room in between. And you can see this frustration from audiences crystal clear online. A lot of the criticism comes down to these practical, logical questions that, frankly, the film isn't interested in answering. How do they have electricity? Why aren't there search parties? And the big one, in the 21st century, how could a place like this even stay hidden? But you see, at the end of the day, The Seating isn't about plot logistics. It's an allegory about our primal nature. It's not trying to make literal sense. And it leaves us with this final, really provocative question from one reviewer, forcing us to think about that fragile line between our civilized selves and the raw, untamed wilderness that might just be waiting at the bottom of our own personal canyons.